Now, welcome to another Let's Talk Some Bad Batch. This time it is the 10th episode of Season 2, also known as Retrieval. And we will once again be reading and responding to some of the comments left on the review on the other channel. But before that, we get to your ever so brief review of the episode.
It wasn't as good as the episode before it, where there was some emotional depth. This one kind of started heading us back towards Adventure of the Week. But I felt like it was a little more depth than they usually give them, I guess.
You think so?
I think a
You
little.
think this episode had a little more depth than the usual?
Than the Fee episode where they went treasure hunting? Absolutely.
Fair enough, yeah.
Where the Bad Batch actually showcased some range and that they noticed their surroundings, noticed what's going on in the galaxy and stuff, rather than just, let's just do whatever Omega says we're going to do.
Well, they kind of do that a little bit. Well, they send her on another...
They send her on a little thing, but they're doing what they need to do.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get to some of the comments, starting with the top-rated one.
Top comment from Sunny D88. My main gripe is how soft and naive the Bad Batch still is, particularly Omega, but Hunter is also not as strict as he needs to be. That's my complaint, honestly, with the Bad Batch, and I talked about it with you about doing a whole discussion around. They're teaching her skills, but no life lessons.
I kind of agree with that. I think last week was kind of the first time you see her affected by something, like genuinely affected by something. Mm-hmm. The leaving of Echo.
And I understand that the clones are naive when they come straight off the line and they wander out into the world, and they might be naive to things that are, when you're not a soldier, you might be naive to things that, it's an adjustment. Let's just say that. Because as soldiers, they aren't always 100% accustomed to what civilian life and civilians go through. They know war. But the Bad Batch has been out and about for some time now, so you'd think they'd be waking up a little faster.
You would think so, and I think the odd kind of flaky nature of Hunter is really confusing. In one breath, it's like, we must protect Omega. We need to get that one big payday so she doesn't have to kind of live this kind of life anymore. And in the next, it's like, well, we'll just send her in with the kid, and they can go lower the ray shields without like a second thought.
Maybe he's starting to try and trust?
Well, sure, but she's still a kid, right? You're still sending her into constant danger.
Is she still a kid?
Well, yes.
I know, she is.
I don't know. I just don't like the theme seems to be one week, we must protect Omega, and the next week it's like, well, Omega said we should go take random mission, so let's go and let her do all these, dangerous things.
It's like it was for 1 minute. They we really need to worry, concentrate on her and her future. And then from then on out, they're like, let's let her just run the show.
Yeah.
Why would we make decisions? We'll just let her do it.
Yeah. And I get it that they trust her to do these things, and that's an important thing, and kids watch this show and they want that validation from adults, so it kind of... Or the kids live vicariously through Omega and they get that confirmation. I get all that, but sometimes it's just like kids shouldn't be, leading a dangerous mission into somewhere where they could easily be killed kind of thing.
Let's then move on to our next comment from SamMixon. I'm starting to get frustrated with how mundane the show is getting. I feel like it's pretty much the same thing every week, and it's really a shame because the good episodes are so incredible, and I feel like it's so easy for the entire series to be like that, if they just lean into the interesting ideas and tone. Not a bad series, but I can see how it could be so much better. Yeah, they show us over and over again how it could be better by giving us those random, here's a really good episode.
Yeah, really good.
Back to chasing the Maluran fruits.
You're talking about Rebels Season 1 where they had a whole episode about finding...
Rebels took, a season and a half, 2 seasons before that really started to hammer into the good string of episodes.
The third and fourth season are definitely much better than the first two, but the first two aren't bad. The first two also had some good episodes, and it's kind of strange how the Adventure of the Week style of Rebels didn't bother me as much. Maybe because you felt there was constant progression.
Well, because even when they were doing the Adventure of the Week, they were showing a lot of character growth and the unity of this family and how they play off and lean into each other in their relationships. Whereas this, we're just supposed to assume that there's what is the actual relationship between Omega and each of the clones? What is the relationship between the clones and each other? We just know that they're stuck together, in a way.
Kinda.
Oh, we are a forced together family unit. We all work together. We are accomplishing goals. But what actually is holding them together? Where's the real brotherly connection between the Bad Batchers? What is the real connection between Omega and them?
Well, I think what happened is they decided to make the Bad Batch show, and they thought, well, we can accomplish other things with it. But it turns out the other things are the good parts.
Crosshair leaving, and then with Echo leaving, why aren't they showing us more emotion of the team?
Well, they kind
how
of show
they are facing this.
Well, I kind of liked last week because last week implied like that's how they deal with it. Like they're on another mission kind of thing. Like that's how they compartmentalize it.
But they're not doing missions like this anymore.
Well,
they're trying to
that's
turn their whole life into still being soldiers when they're not.
Well, that's part of the struggle. Like, I don't mind that. I think that's the interesting part that they miss out on. I agree with you. They don't do enough between the team where there's any kind of real chemistry between them. Mm-hmm. Well, they show it when it's absent, right? They show it when Echo is gone. Like, oh, we miss Echo. But they don't show the chemistry very well when they're all together anymore. And I thought they did that well, for example, in the Clone Wars arc. That you see how they all work together and they're a team. And like I said, you see it when they don't have that, but you don't see it together anymore. If that makes any sense. It's very
weird because the only thing that has happened really since Echo has gone, Tech and Wrecker are always fighting.
Yeah.
They
Again,
fought
this week they were
a lot in the last. Yeah, even in this episode, they were arguing about. Well, is the hyperdrive ready? I'm working on it. Yeah. It seems like Tech is constantly picking on Wrecker, because maybe Wreckers just can't pick up the slack that Tech is used to working with Echo, and those two are kind of a team, working on the mechanics and the computer systems together as a unit.
Yeah, you see the absence, but you don't see the strength. I guess maybe they're trying to imply that the strength is gone. That they don't have their full team. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but that's kind of the impression I get. Like the team is just falling apart.
It feels that way, but they're not showing it very well. You really have to dig in there to figure it out.
Yeah, the only way they show it is like Tech will, as you point out, Tech will yell at Wrecker from time to time.
Or all the time.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next comment then from The Grand Potato. I could go for potato.
Oh.
Something grand, maybe. Sorry. I think these 2 episodes were good, but something tells me that they should have been in season 1.
Yeah, I feel like this is, again, we kind of just keep retreading.
Take out all the filler episodes from season 1 and season 2, you do have 1 season.
I feel like you do.
It needs to be like a list of these are the necessary moments from those filler episodes, we'll call them. These are the moments from the filler episodes that you need, but you can cut everything else. Like, you could cut this entire episode down to, 5 minutes of dialogue.
Yeah, is it enjoyable in and of itself? To some degree, yeah. But the problem is, I saw a lot of people making the comment, like, oh, this is just kind of building to them. It's another episode where they learn they have to partake in the greater good. They have to help people. Mm-hmm. And that's well and good, but you don't need that much of it, right? You don't need, this little hint every week that they're going to do it. I'd rather have, when Echo left, that should have been the moment where they kind of started thinking, maybe he's right.
He's right, yeah.
Instead, we're going to get 5 more episodes of them being like, well, maybe there's something to help in that greater good.
They're waiting for Omega to tell the team that that's what they need to do.
Oh my God, it's true, isn't it? She's going to be the one that's like, guys, we gotta do more for the galaxy. Mm-hmm. You're right, Omega. Let's do it.
And what's sad is this mine that they just liberated that has this valuable stuff in it. How long before the Empire just comes and takes it?
Well, yeah.
And puts them back into their forced labor situation anyway?
Well, that would be interesting if this was, say, a 3-parter. Not that I necessarily want that, but had it been, say, a 3-parter and next week the Empire shows up and takes the mine and there's nothing the Bad Batch can do about it, then that might push them over the edge, right? And then you just need this one story arc where you could show them...
fantastic.
Yeah. They kind of missed this opportunity to do something with this kind of episode. They don't capitalize on it.
Do you think that could be what happens
next?
We didn't watch any of those spoilers for the people who got to preview 3/4 of the episode.
Yeah, I know no spoilers, so if that happens, I apologize. I'm not trying to ruin anything. That's just something I threw out there as an idea. Yes. But that would make it better, right? It would give more purpose to everything.
See, now the Empire move in and take back what they just liberated.
Yeah. And then that gets them into the fight. That's what I'm saying. You don't need this
realizing
constant
that they need more than just this small team, yeah.
Yeah, you don't need this entire season of these kind of one-off mission of the week where they slowly come to realize there's a greater threat out there they could be dealing with. You could just do it in one compact, good story arc.
All right, next comment is from MC Creations. This wasn't my favorite episode until now, for sure, but I really like the fact that they're making 2-episode arcs. That's something missing from the first season. Either way, I like that they made friends there, but I don't like how Sid's betrayal was just ignored. This goes along with Magnus TNT. What a waste of an episode. We could have gotten more character work with them waiting on the planet for Sid to retrieve them, only to realize she wasn't coming. If they go back to her after this, I will be mad. Prepare to be mad.
Yeah,
They're going back, and she'll be like, "What? I wasted all that fuel filling up a ship for you guys?"
All right. But no, I agree. That's one of the problems of the season. We know where everything is going because you're hinting at it continuously. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying if the hints were more subtle, that's fine. But when it's like blatant that we know what you're going to do with the season, then just do it.
Just do it.
Like, let's not go back to Sid and do another 2 more missions, and then they're like, oh, and then she betrays us. No, have this be the moment.
She's going to betray them, but then take it back. She'll betray them, and it'll be like, oh, Sid betrayed them to the Empire. And then it'll be like, Sid is also trying to free them because she feels guilty that she shouldn't have done that. Because we have to redeem her.
Predictable. But that's the thing. Like, if they just go back and, like, nothing ever happened, if they're not mad that Sid was like, I'll get you guys off that planet in a week or whatever, you know.
Is Wrecker's starving?
Yeah, well, Wrecker's starving because he ate all his rations.
Hey, he's a big boy. He
I don't
needs
disagree.
a little more rations than
I
Omega. And...
Yes. I know that sounds bad that the man should be eating more than the kid, but...
He's a big burly dude with muscles.
But yeah, you do. I mean, when it boils right down to it, who do you want to have the most energy and be the most capable? Well, I guess probably Omega.
All right, moving on. Bowen Horn. One thing that actually stood out in this and last week's episode is the music. It was very different from what we usually get from Star Wars and had a very sort of Western feel.
Oh, yeah, I love the music.
Kevin Kiner's always at his best.
Well, Kevin Kiner never fails. Like, the music and the animation I never have complaints about them.
No, it's just the story.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if the story was impeccable.
The part you're actually there for.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to Dratus. Hunter losing those 2 guys was annoying. Wasn't he supposed to be, like, the best one to track people?
Yeah, again, Hunter is kind of nerfed, I feel like. Hunter doesn't really do anything with his abilities. Out of all of them, he does the least amount with it.
He picks up the dirt and watches which way.
We've talked about it before. He'll kneel down, pick up some dirt, and watch it, oh, the wind's blowing out of the east. Well, thanks, Hunter.
And Omega will mimic it going, yes, the east, Father,
Yes, it is definitely the east. I concur. All right. What about those 2 guys that just got away? Yes. Well, they weren't heading east where the wind was coming from.
They're lost to me. They're lost.
I mean, I like Hunter. I actually thought Hunter was really good in the first season, and in this season, he's just like, he lets Omega run all over him, I feel like.
Yeah. Omega's definitely taken up the star role for sure this season. Like, the Bad Batch is backseating.
Yeah, they backseat almost every episode, if not to...
And when they don't backseat the Bad Batch, we have good episodes come through.
Ish. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I feel like sometimes the Bad Batch just not being in the episode is the key to success, but...
What?
But yeah, we either have Omega front and center, or someone else comes in and is front and center, and it's usually better when that other character comes in and front and centers.
I know, we gotta almost be that
Crosshair episode?
Yeah, D. Bradley Baker's favorite episode, he said, was in the last, quarter of the season or something, so we're getting there.
We are getting there.
He said it was about 3/4 of the way through, so...
Well, that's roughly
within
where we are.
Within the next couple of weeks. It'll be like, oh, great, we had a really good episode, but we were all busy watching Mando, so...
I know. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be the episode next week when Mando comes out. That's going to be, the best Bad Batch episode. No one will watch it.
No, we'll be busy. All right, Star Wars News and Memes said, how many people knew Mako was going to be the villain right when he appeared? How many people knew the thief was going to betray the Bad Batch? How many people knew they were going to win by having everyone turn against Mako? How many people knew Omega was too trusting and was going to basically be the one to let the thief betray them? Yeah, this is one of the most predictable of the Bad Batch. Where's Crosshair?
Yeah, we were promised at least one more Crosshair episode.
Yeah.
But no, that's the problem with the show. It is very predictable, formulaic. You can see it. I think a lot of that has to do with 20 to 25 minute episodes. There's only so much you can do.
Did we have to have such a long scene of watching Mako eat? I was like, my stomach was churning. I was like, this is disgusting. Like,
even animated.
Okay, I get it. You have a lot of food. You don't have to eat like a pig.
Well, they really wanted to hammer it home.
That he's a glutton, apparently?
Well, that he's, he's got all the money and he gives scraps to the others because he's rich and they're not, and it's bad.
Oh. Well, who handles all the food shipments when they come in? His 2 droids?
Don't ask those kind of questions. Those would have been interesting. Right. But he did have a couple droids, which I'm assuming helped keep his secret.
And nobody could tell the food smells wafting out of his chamber at all times.
That he's fat, too.
he's a little chunkier than everybody else.
Yeah, fat. I'm not fat, but he was definitely a little more bulky than everybody else there.
Well, let's move on to the next comment from Pupix. The quality of this season is too random to be random.
It's like my favorite Andor quote.
Because it's too random to be random.
But it is very random week to week. You never know what you're gonna get.
No, it's up in the air every time you turn it on. You're like,
you might get something phenomenal,
something good, something medium, something bad.
You're usually getting the extremes though, right? It's usually like really good or really like average.
Yeah, There's
Not
really
bad.
not
I
a
don't
middle
know.
ground in the Bad Batch.
Yeah, I don't know that there's been like really bad episodes, but there's been certainly some solid average episodes at best.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple phenomenal ones. And as we've kind of been talking about, as some of the comments mentioned, like, why don't we lean into the phenomenal stuff? We seem to really want to do the Bad Batch thing when that's not working, to be completely honest. And I wouldn't be too angry if the show morphed into something else next season, assuming there is a next season. We don't know.
Right, with the financial strain Disney's under, if the season's not performing well, this could be the end of the batch.
I get a sneaking suspicion that it might be, only because we've heard of Disney wanting to cut back, and I'm assuming this isn't bringing in the numbers.
Well, they don't have anything to sell toys with.
No, and
Where's
they're
their
not.
cute thing?
That is a great point. What toys are they selling off this kids show?
Why doesn't Omega have a pet? She needs something cute to carry around with her or that lives in the ship.
Well, she does have like Stormy or whatever, the little stormtrooper, and a couple other pets, and Gonky, and they just add a Y.
Those aren't things that are enough.
Well, I know, but I actually that's a serious point. Like, what toys are they making? There's a handful of Black Series figures, which are again more adult collectors, but even this season hasn't had any new Black Series figures announced. They're not capitalizing off the show at all, which is
hilarious because they recolored all of the Batch's armor, so they could very easily sell us recolors of all of the Batchers.
I'm assuming it's coming, but it's weird to be over halfway through the season and not have that announced yet. Hasbro is also having some issues, and they've kind of wanted to stop the pre-order thing too. So I don't know. I think there's actually an interesting underlying question: is outside of the show itself, how much money are they actually making off it? What merchandise is selling for this thing? And I think it's virtually none, which is probably a bad sign for its future.
All right, let's move on to our last comment from Danko Kamchevsky. Stunning visuals, very fresh-sounding music, some Hobbit vibes again. The main villain reminds me of Azog. Also, one of the boys' hairstyles reminds me of Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I got that too.
All in all, an enjoyable episode that yet again fails to capitalize on previous developments.
There you go. I think that sums it up. They don't know how to build. And Rebels, for whatever reason, Rebels was much better at it, even though it felt even less like something that was kind of ongoing. It felt more Mission of the Week, yet it, for some reason, didn't feel that way.
Right.
And they don't know how to do this in Bad Batch. For whatever reason, they're failing in Bad Batch with it. I'm not saying they don't do it at all. I'm not saying there's any build-up, but it seems like they try to keep reiterating. They keep giving the same hints and clues again with Sid's betrayal, with, we don't function as a team as well without Echo. We're probably going to go good guys because we're realizing the whole galaxy is, sucks under the Empire. And it just takes forever for these things to manifest.
Hey, their position probably sucked without the Empire.
Well, you know what I mean, though.
None of us who've been mining Ipsium for years can tell that the Ipsium's not degrading.
Yeah.
We've just been mining it our whole lives.
Yeah, that's...
Did they have I don't know anything about the mineral that I'm mining.
Not a single one of them has any type of tool to scan the quality of it? They're just mining it, like you said, and they don't know.
They can't tell it's the same as it's always been and it's not degrading?
Yep.
Because why would you have mineral experts among people who mine minerals?
No, it's stupid. It's stupid.
Tired of stupid. Tired.
But yeah, I agree. It takes so long to get to the things that we know are going to happen, and nothing surprises us. I'm ready for some surprises. Or just some quality episodes. Like the Crosshair and Cody episode was just a quality episode, or I'll call it the Senate episode where we were on Coruscant.
Yeah,
quality
those
episodes. But the mission of the week, they need to do something besides allude to what is going to happen.
They need to get back to their place and confront Sid hardcore.
Yeah, they should be
maybe
pissed.
confront her so hardcore that she's like, "Yeah, I'm betraying them now. I'm done with these clones."
Or she kicks them out. Something
something needs to happen because
we know it's coming.
Yeah.
So either make it happen already, or don't be so blatant about it.
Make it happen, Captain.
All right, well, that is all we got for this time. So now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you thought of this episode of The Bad Batch, or the series in general. Do you think there's going to be a season 3, or do you think this might be it? Whatever the case may be, leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars, and until next time, thanks for watching.